The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 696. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend, welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She's a comedian, an actor, and also a musician, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Jen Kwok. Jen, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Sure, I'm great, and thank you so much for having me. I am a performer, writer who grew up in the Mojave Desert in California. I'm currently based out of New York City, and I have spent the last decade or so working across all different genres and just kind of putting together music with humor, with drama as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Jen, what's your cultural background?
I am 85% Chinese, 12% Vietnamese, and about 3% Korean, Mongolian, and other East Asian, as 23andMe has told me very accurately.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
One quote that's really kind of stuck in my mind over the years is focus on what you do have, not on what you don't have. That's something that a yoga teacher said to our class, I would say about 5 years ago, and it just really stuck in my mind, as finding a way to fully immerse yourself in, your talent, your experiences, and your skills, and also putting you in a place of gratitude where you, can approach things through strength and not, from a place of feeling lack or what you don't have.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I define self-confidence as just accepting who you are exactly as you are at any given moment, and then also being on your own team. So, wherever you are, whatever flaws are happening, however you may be feeling, just being on your own side and being your own cheerleader from the inside out.
Thanks for sharing that. And I like that definition. It's always challenging to be on our own side, right? Especially when we have that critical side of us that feels like we're never perfect for anything. And we just have to realize to be kinder to ourselves, and whatever success we have, no matter how big or small we are, we just kind of have a pat on the back or high five ourselves or hug ourselves, whatever it is, to cheer ourselves to keep going, right? So I think that's a great definition that you have. And Jen, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
It was pretty hard. I think that, being an Asian American woman or person growing up, not having a lot of role models and, feeling like perhaps your voice doesn't matter or isn't being heard, it can be really hard to kind of, understand what your own potential is, to even see it, much less towards it. For me, it was, a lot of kind of difficulty in finding that within myself and really kind of looking to the outside world, which is really not the best method or most reliable source for that. So it was pretty difficult, but something that I'm really glad I was able to move through and past.
Thanks for sharing that. I think a lot of us can deal with that, especially, migrating to a different country, like especially in North America, right? When you're like the only Asian person in the crowd, or not everybody looks like you. And especially back then, there wasn't a lot of TV shows, or there was hardly any TV shows that had Asian representation. I think the first Asian show I saw on like TV was American Girl with Margaret Cho. And I was like, wow, finally someone that kind of looks like me. But, I'm glad that now we're getting more and more, representation, especially now with, the new Marvel movie coming out and Mulan. It's just like anything is truly possible. And it does have to start with us, right? If we want that change, it has to start with us. But what was that point in your life when you realized your voice does matter and you do have something to offer to the world and, be who you are today, have that confidence? What was that aha moment?
Well, I wish I could say it was one moment, but I do think that it is kind of little moments over and over. Like we have to kind of keep reminding ourselves. And I think as a performer, sometimes you work on your art and then you go on stage and you don't really know how or if it's even going to resonate with anyone. And a lot of times, going out there, seeing that something does work, or even having one person respond to it and say how much it touched them, that is enough to give you the confidence to say, oh, like I'm saying something that actually matters to another human being. And also just importantly on the flip side is trying stuff out and having it not work out. And then being able to get up again and saying, hey, that sucked or that didn't go the way I planned, but I'm still alive. Like I still have other parts of myself that I can believe in.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned, as a performer, like, as long as you change one person's life, that's all that matters. Because sometimes you never know where that person can go, right? And, sometimes it's not always easy, right? You work on your craft. Sometimes you feel like it's not going anywhere, but just hearing from one person just makes a difference, and you realize you are doing something that's helping someone else out there. And you never know who you're helping, right? Some people will probably never tell you in your whole life, and they're probably like avid fans, and you just will never know. But there are like one or two people who will send you a message or a tweet or a DM or whatever it is saying like, thank you for doing this. Because of you, I'm able to, do what I can do. So I think that's great. And, because of that, those realizations, what's your life been like now?
I would say that my life is just a lot more easeful. It just feels a lot simpler, when I'm able to accept who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, and, not feeling like I need to get, this particular achievement or get to some certain level in order to, be okay with myself. I think that there's just this kind of like relaxation and steadiness in knowing that I have, everything that I've got, whether, for better or worse.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say to really hone in on your own intuition about who you are. And I think that that's where the deepest self-confidence starts, is just really that solid connection with your soul, whatever that means to you, whether that's connected to your talent, to your kindness, to your inquisitiveness. Everybody's got, a different lock and a different key. And I think if you just keep listening to yourself and following those little intuitive tugs, you will figure it out for yourself, and then you'll have something inside that you can carry with you, no matter what room or situation you walk into.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, you can visit me at jenkwok.com, JenKwok. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook as Jen Kwok. That's my name twice. And I'm on Twitter as Jen Kwok.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Jen, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Jen's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Jen today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Jen.
Well, thank you.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.